Welcome back to Sold Out Sports Talk on AFR Talk. Roman Gabriel III, your host, getting you ready for a great weekend of sports, and I hope you've had a great weekend with your family, Friday and Saturday. And a reminder, of course, many of you have date night with your wife on Saturday night, or you got your kids basketball, football, baseball, whatever sport you guys got going, or maybe you got something else. But if you missed the show, you can catch us on our podcast page for Droid and iPhone owners, and get our full programming there at afr.net. Just go to podcast page, Sold Out Sports Talk, or the archive. You can go there for our full shows. Even this interview that we got coming up with Corey, you can hear it again in its entirety, go all the way back at least 3 months, and hear these programs at afr.net. Go to Sold Out Sports Talk on the archive, push the button, and I'm there in your ear, man. And you can cut the yard out there. You can do whatever you need to do, and make sure you take care of those honeydews on the weekend and hear a little sports at the same time right here on Sold Out Sports Talk. Well, my guests coming in, oh boy, we had a great run of guests here in the last 4 or 5 weeks. Last week, Carl Mecklenburg, former Denver Broncos linebacker, talking about his Reach Foundation. Well, we've had this guy on. He's a regular on our show. Corey Miller, of course, two-time Super Bowl champion with the New York Giants. A career with not only the Giants but the Vikings. University of South Carolina standout. He's got his own program on 1400 The Team in Columbia, South Carolina. Drive time from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern time, or you can go to 1400theteam.com to hear his program online. He does a great job of similar to what we're doing here, which is to bring sports to you, but to bring you the backside as well, to show you what's going on in the lives of these guys, and of course brings you all the details. A 5-day-a-week show is a ton of work, but he does a great job on it. He's also the pastor of Pain. That's right. He's out there ministering, and you can find him on Facebook at Corey Miller. You can find him on Twitter at Pastor of Pain. My guest, good friend, out there getting it done, Corey Miller. Corey, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Roman, I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well. And, of course, trying to survive the blistering heat down here in Columbia, South Carolina, of course, over 100 degrees. And that tells me one thing: when it's August and it's about 100 degrees here in the metro, it's football time, and that's what we're getting ready for: college football, pro football, and long time waiting, but I'm psyched up, amped up, ready to go.
You know, this is my time of year too, and I hear from so many fans, as you do, that they were sick and tired of hearing about this strike, and they're ready to play some football, and it's been pretty crazy. With normally you have a period of free agency that's you have some signings here and there, but when you have to do it, over a few day period, and you see the moves that have taken place in the last 7 to 10 days, it's been absolutely incredible. And of course, if your favorite team, you're following it, you're going to miss a ton here in the week if you didn't follow it. So there's a lot of things going on, and let's kick right into the NFL and some of these moves. Obviously, you and I had talked about this last year. There was the only thing you can say is a bad marriage between the Washington Redskins and between Donovan McNabb.
Yeah.
He finally gets out of Washington, and I think this is a heck of a move by the Vikings to get him. Of course, Brett Favre's been their quarterback the last 2 years, and Corey, let's only hope that we don't see anybody in Mississippi talking to Brett Favre about coming back.
Maybe he goes back to Washington now and plays for Mike Shanahan and the Redskins. No, but I think there's an excellent pickup by the Minnesota Vikings. They lose Tavares Jackson to Seattle. They lose Sidney Rice. So now you bring in Donovan McNabb. They drafted Christian Ponder out of Florida State. And so, I think it's a great move. They got a good foundation of players. They've been very, very close. But, they've been, I wouldn't say lacking, but last year for Brett Favre, we had a down year after coming off maybe perhaps his best season ever 2 years ago. So now you bring in another guy, Donovan McNabb, who has led the Philadelphia Eagles to a Super Bowl before. He's led them to numerous playoff runs. And just the relationship with Mike Shanahan did not work. And Mike Shanahan has been known to be a tough coach to play for. And that turned out to be the deal for Donovan McNabb. So he found him a team where he can play indoors. It's going to be better for his body. And I think he'll play well. I think he'll go there and put up some good numbers. They got Adrian Peterson, the running back, great Pro Bowler. And, so he won't have to depend on just throwing the ball everywhere. He got the running game working for you. So I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to be in good shape, and they'll compete in the NFC Central division.
Corey Miller, our guest, former Super Bowl champion, New York Giants, now the pastor of Payne, putting out the gospel message and also putting out the sports message on 1400theteam.com and his 3 to 6 East Coast time, drive time in Columbia. You can hear him 5 days a week out there, and he's gracious to join us on Sold Out Sports Talk on AFR Talk. And let's go inside a little bit, Corey, because I think some of the fans out there, especially fans that I've been around, you know, you and I both have been around Donovan's parents who are strong Christians. We've been around Donovan himself, who's a Christian guy. Never been a guy that hasn't been a team player. In fact, to his detriment, he's probably taken a lot of criticism that he didn't deserve. Took this team to the Super Bowl, took them to championship games over and over. What is it about Donovan McNabb that bothers people so much? I mean, you look at this guy's career. If you just put the numbers out there, this guy's, you know, Hall of Fame path. He's been incredible, difference maker, a great team leader. He's been a guy that can win for you in the fourth quarter. He's, coming out of Syracuse, he was a guy who was underrated. A lot of people didn't want him in Philadelphia, and we all know the background of the Philadelphia fan. My dad was there. They've gone through a lot of situations trying to get to win the big one. But what is it, do you think, that is the problem? Why Donovan takes so much pain and hits, and not only in the media, but also sometimes from teammates?
Well, I think just a lot of times, Roman, you mentioned it, when we stand for the King of Kings, and you're very vocal about who you serve and who you are in that capacity. It comes sometimes with attacks. I always like to say it, the anointing of God attracts attacks. And sometimes you don't understand why. When you see a guy so nice, very humble, he's a winner, he works hard, he does things the right way, oftentimes they come with a level of attack. And I think, it's more so spiritual than anything else that we can see with our own eyes. And of course, the Bible talks about those things that we're going to sometimes, as believers, face, attacks just because of who we are and what we stand for. And so I like to use it where the enemy sometimes has soldiers, and sometimes he'll use those people that are closest to you, your teammates, your friends, your peers, sometimes to take jabs at you. And just the way it is. I experience it here sometimes, on radio, where people try to contradict things or put stuff out there that I've said, or the situation always that will try to attack you. But we always have to stand firm, knowing that who we serve, that we always going to be the winner, that when we stand and be vocal and lift up the name of Jesus, he always going to get us through whatever type of storm that we're in. So, I don't know for sure if there's one thing with Donovan McNabb, but being that when you stand as a believer, I know that sometimes oncoming attacks will happen. But I can applaud his staying firm, not wavering, and standing still for who he believes in.
Corey Miller, our guest, former Giants Super Bowl champion. He's in Columbia, South Carolina, and, of course, getting ready always for what's going on there with his alma mater, University of South Carolina. And quickly, let's hit a couple of these moves, but I want you to think about it from the standpoint from more from the inside look at this, Corey, than just on the surface from a playing standpoint. I want you to give the fans out here something maybe they don't know. Plaxico Burress, Giants, your former team. Here's a guy who spent almost 2 years in jail. If let's remind people, shot himself in the leg in a nightclub. New York has a law, no handguns. They used him as an example. He just signed a 1-year deal with the Jets, did not go back to his former team, the Giants, which I don't know how much Eli Manning wanted him back. It didn't sound like he did, even though he was a guy that he counted on. What's going on with Plaxico Burress, and can he get back to the level he played at in helping the Giants win the Super Bowl a few years back?
I think Plaxico Burress is going to be back. He's very humble about the situation. Though he knew that he made a mistake. The Jets, I think, getting a great pickup, 1-year deal, $3.5 or $3.05 million guaranteed for Plax. He's worked hard. He's been training, and he wants to go back and quiet the naysayers. And I think he will do that. Rex Ryan will make sure Sanchez get him the football. Now, as far as the Giants are concerned, you're talking about Eli Manning. I think. He wanted him back. From my sources and people that I talked to up there, they wanted Plaxico to come back to the Giants. A lot of his teammates went up to Reach's office and talked on his behalf about bringing him back. I mean, let's go back just for a minute, Rome. They said no way, no how when the talk came out when he was still incarcerated. But later on, they entertained the idea of bringing Plaxico Burress back to the Giants, and all that was because of players going to speaking on his behalf. But no, that being said, neither here nor there, he's still in New York. He's with the Jets, a team that is missing maybe somebody to compliment Santonio Holmes. Plaxico Burress is the real deal, and he's a guy you can toss the ball up. He can make plays on the ball. He's got that great vertical leap. He's 34 years old, but he's a young 34. And I always said this, and I said the same thing about Michael Vick. Those years off in prison gave those guys fresh legs, and they were able to rest. They're not taking hits, and they're going to be fresh. And I think Plaxico Burress is going to be fresh, and he'll play very youthful this coming season.
Okay, about 1 minute. Peyton Manning signs, becomes the highest-paid player in the NFL. I think it was a 5-year, $90 million deal. He actually didn't take as much as he could so that they could sign a couple of other players and have some room under the cap where they could work on some of their improvements, something that Peyton Manning's been willing to do in the past. But coming from a guy who had a neck problem, which I did, this is no little thing. Wasn't able to get the rehab that he needed during the CBA and during the lockout. Now he's behind. Don't know if he'll even play a preseason game. How will this affect Peyton Manning? Of course, a little over a year ago, he had the knee problem where he missed most of training camp. Still was the MVP. But what can the Colts expect, especially with a second neck procedure?
Yeah, I don't know, and I was kind of shocked for the $90 million. But again, that situation, Jim Irsay showed his commitment to Peyton Manning, and more so all the thanks for the things that you have done and what you've done for our organization. I would like to say, hey, thanks, Peyton, for your generosity, but it is $90 million. It is the most lucrative contract based on per year as it factors out. But Peyton to come back, he won't participate early in camp, but he'll bounce back. He's a smart player. Still got a good arm. They got a good receiving core around him. They try to get Joseph Adai signed for that part, that running game is concerned. Peyton Manning will be just fine. He'll put up Peyton-like numbers. He'll get another Pro Bowl, and his neck will be fine.
Corey Miller, our guest, former New York Giants Super Bowl champion. And when we come back on Sold Out Sports Talk on AFR Talk, we're going to talk about the world champions. That's right, the Green Bay Packers. We're also going to talk about a couple of other teams and who has the advantage coming off this lockout. Who are your teams going to be, and who do you think is going to be lagging behind? We'll find out with Corey with more on Sold Out Sports Talk on AFR Talk. Hold in there when we come back.